So, is the Black Ops 6 multiplayer good and worth your time? I've now spent a whole day more or less trying to find out, since I had some mixed feelings and impressions, especially after the last beta ended. Before we get into that, I want to say thank you to Activision Nordic for sending me a code when it comes to the game. But even so, my thoughts and impressions, you might say, regarding Black Ops 6 that I will share with you are my honest opinions. I personally, though, played less Call of Duty overall the last couple of years, especially after Black Ops Cold War, since I haven't been too enthusiastic about the overall development of the recent games and the franchise as a whole. With that said, I've been pretty curious to see what Treyarch would be able to present to us this year around, especially since I believe that Treyarch has been the COD studio that has over the years released the best Call of Duty titles overall. Whether you'll enjoy the Black Ops 6 multiplayer or not, though, will differ, of course, depending on what kind of COD player you are. I would say that if you did enjoy Cold War as I did, and Treyarch's earlier Black Ops titles, then the chances increases dramatically that Black Ops 6 not only feels familiar, but it might also therefore become a game you want to spend time playing. I can spontaneously say already now, after a whole day of playing the Black Ops 6 multiplayer, that it has been an overall fun experience. First off, it feels as if they fixed some of the issues when it comes to connection, thinking foremost about packet loss and such things, although I had a few matches where it still happened for a while. But the performance overall feels better now, and I had pretty good frames playing on PC, even though my CPU is awaiting an upgrade that will happen soon. So the gameplay and gunplay overall feels quite satisfying now. Another problem during the playtest were the spawn system, that both weren't trimmed or fixed, but since Treyarch and Activision has stated that there will foremost be small or medium-sized maps in Black Ops 6, it makes it also harder to implement good spawns in such a fast-paced game on a smaller area. However, there's 16 multiplayer maps at launch, I believe, with 12 being core maps for 6v6 modes and 4 maps being strike maps for 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3 modes. And so far, there hasn't been any crazy spawn moments that I've experienced, and I'm pretty sure I've played on all the respawn multiplayer maps by now. So I guess they've been able to fix this to the better overall, but I also have to say that some of the maps are actually bigger than I thought they would be, even if Treyarch is defining them as medium-sized maps. I believe that's a good thing, since it adds more variety to the game. Another good thing is that I actually like most of the maps regarding the design, or at least the majority of the maps. And that comes from someone that is quite picky when it comes to map design after playing shooter games for 20 plus years. You also might have heard that there are less weapons available so far compared to some other recent titles being released. Now, is that a good or a bad thing? I don't have a problem with that, since less weapons, at least at launch, means that it's a bit easier to keep track from the developer's point of view when it comes to weapon balancing. At the same time, though, you're able to use quite a lot of attachments on the weapons due to the gunsmith, so that has to be taken into consideration as well. Another thing that has to do with weapon balancing in the game is the TTK, meaning time to kill, that is also related to the new Omni movement in the game. Now, the TTK in Black Ops 6 is quite fast. They say it's the fastest TTK so far, about the same as Modern Warfare 2, and definitely faster than Cold War, that was released back in 2020. And it's been confirmed that Black Ops 6 time to kill will be faster than more recent games. The time to kill has been a divisive subject in the Call of Duty community long before Black Ops 6. And I usually prefer a slower time to kill, and the simple reason why is because I do enjoy gunfights, meaning having a chance to return fire and not only die because the other guy was the one shooting first. However, I haven't had any major opinions or thoughts when it comes to how most of the gunfights I've had has played out so far in Black Ops 6. It seems as if it actually differs some even from time to time, maybe due to weapon balance in the game, at least so far. Treyarch explained that the game's time to kill has been fine-tuned to synergize with new features like the Omni movement as mentioned, and Black Ops 6 weapon balance, as the new game features 12 new weapons. And talking about the movement, I like it so far. Well, the Omni movement isn't that dominant that you would think it could be or is. Sure, there's plenty of players that are new to the game that also have to figure out how to use the Omni movement and therefore aren't using it that much, if that makes sense. It's more common that you see a dolphin dive or two instead of anything else, at least for now. Another thing that I'm happy to see when it comes to prestiging and leveling up in the game is that Activision have been swapping out the seasonal system for the classic prestige system in Black Ops 6. Now, the new Prestige worked similarly to a battle pass, where players could unlock new rewards in a certain time period and then would return to level 1 when the season was over. So one perk was that they could keep their cosmetic progress and items unlocked. Now, the classic system took away all the weapons and challenges and any other progress made before the player maxed out the experience on level 55. So it simply meant that at level 1, players must start fresh without any perks. However, players gained a special symbol indicating that they are in prestige mode, and now this was replaced by officer ranks in Cold War Season 1. So if you're like me, have been playing most of the older games, I believe you're also happy to see the classic system coming back. Let me get some feedback in the comments overall, what we've been talking about so far. It's always fun and interesting to read and also answer what you are writing down there. We talked about the TTK before. That has been a topic, a subject that has been discussed over the years when it comes to Call of Duty, especially in relation to some other shooter games out there. Well, another thing, or should we call it even an elephant in the room to a certain extent, is of course the skill-based matchmaking and even EOMM as well that are supposed to also occur in Call of Duty games. Well, we do know for sure that at least skill-based matchmaking is there and it's a thing. When I played my first matches, I didn't really think so much about it, but I have to be honest and say after a few hours of playing and when you have been doing better and better, starting to learn the game or the pace of the game and of course also the maps and whatnot, then you start to feel that it kicks in. It is there, it is a thing for sure, and the matchmaking or the whole experience of the matches and the matchmaking starts to feel quite similar, meaning it doesn't vary that much, and this is a thing I define or think is a problem when it comes to having skill-based matchmaking, especially when it comes to a arcade shooter and even or furthermore when it comes to casual game modes. We're not going to talk too much about it here. I've done that before and I have my opinion. I guess you have yours, and maybe this is also one of the things that will push some players away eventually, also when they have been playing the game for days, months, or even longer. Maybe they do get burned out, but skill-based matchmaking and whatnot will stay in the game. We know that. It's not going to change, I'm pretty sure. So either we accept it and try to have as fun as we can even so, or we simply don't buy and play the game. With that said, I think it's time to wrap things up. This is of course my early impressions and they might change over time. But initially, I wanted to share my thoughts and hopefully you've got a better picture of how the experience could be when it comes to the multiplayer of Black Ops 6, even though we have different preferences, if you will. So take that into consideration. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments and thanks a lot for watching my video. I hope you have a beautiful day. Take care and talk to you later in my next video. Bye-bye.
Bravo lost. Watchdog helo incoming on your location.
Watchdog helo,